the Most High or die. There's no Chinese president that we have to negotiate with. There's no Japanese, there's no Asian or African, there's no UN, there's no Jewish people we have to sit down with. And see, they don't like that. That it's all or nothing with these children of Israel people. That's the part they don't like. Why can't y'all have a world like ours in which we all have a say? Look at the world with everyone having a say. It's total madness. There should only be one say in the earth. But they don't like what they really hate is the fact that it's going to be us bringing forth the legislation. And that's why they don't teach the truth about the 144,000. 144,000 are 12,000 men from each tribe that are governors of the earth, that will take parts of the earth and be governors over it. They don't like that. Right? And even in this system, they feel like, listen, we'll allow you all to come into our government and be a part of our government. Even Israelites can come in their government and be a part of it. But yet we have a government that no one can come in and rule but us. So they feel it's unfair. So that's why the European powers, which are Germans, Jewish, Amalek, they're all the same people, Romans. That's why they will tolerate each other, because at least they have their portion. You have to realize everything they split up in the earth belonged to us at one point. They cast lots for us. So this real estate, all this was ours. Everything.
But the Israelites were here.
Huh?
Initially, from what I read, they were here back in the 12th century.
Man, listen, we were here. We were ruling big time. A matter of fact, we set up the monarchy here. Why? Because there was a monarchy under David in Israel. We set up the monarchy here. All right? But then they took us out, killed King James, and they injected Germans. They injected Germans. They ain't no British. They're the British royal family. These people, these people that are on the throne from George IV, they're not even British. They're Germans.
I know they're German. That's
Yeah.
why English is actually ENGLIS. It's actually German.
Yeah.
And
No.
it comes from the word Gothic. It's actually
Well, when you look at
mixed up.
now, when you look at the word England, England come from the Hebrew word angel's land, because England, yes, like the Anglo-Saxons, the Anglo-Saxons were called the angelic sons of Isaac. We were the Anglo-Saxons.
And it's funny because when you listen to certain people and they talk,
Yeah.
they'll interject so far and they know who we are and then they'll skirt around it.
Yeah. We were the Anglo-Saxons. All you have to do is translate the words. The angelic sons of Isaac is Anglo-Saxon.
That's what it means.
Yeah, we were the sons of Isaac. England is called Angel's Land.
That's Angleterrian French, because initially this place was called Angleterre.
Yeah.
The French word for the French.
Yes.
Because they crossed over,
Yeah.
That's why you see the flags are all the
Yeah.
same colour.
Yeah, the French of the Gauls.
Joined together.
The French of the Gauls. You have to realize we renamed the land once we started setting up monarchies.
Yeah.
After Rome fell, we renamed the land. This land biblically is called Britannica.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Okay, we called the land England when we set up a monarchy here. And we wanted to get away from the believe it or not, we wanted to get away from the Latin tongue, and we created the English tongue to get away from the Latin tongue. And when you look at the English language, it correlates. You can translate Hebrew straight from the English language.
Yeah.
You can look at an English word and tell what it is in Hebrew.
Yeah, it's true.
We created the English language to get away from the satanic Latin tongue.
Good job you answered that, Brother Bashar. I was thinking about that, about the language, Latin and England. Like
Yeah.
You explained it.
Yeah.
That was in my thought pattern. And
Yeah.
I was thinking there's something about
There's
the Latin,
similarities.
Yeah,
but I didn't understand. And
Yeah.
I thought, but you just said it.
exactly.
Yeah, that was the,
So what happens? So what happens is you have people to try to correct us. Oh, you're not speaking proper English. Excuse me, brother. Excuse me, sister. We created English. You were speaking Latin. So we can do whatever we want to do with this language. We created it. They try to make it seem as if, and not only that, we're the only people who can actually take a break off of the language and change it into another language.
Yeah. They can't do that.
Slang.
Yeah.
Why? Because it was our language from the beginning. We can speak proper English, or we can speak Ebonics. We can speak slang because we did the translation. We changed the languages. It was us. All right. Now let's get back to what we were saying in the Wisdom of Solomon. Read.
Start from the top.
Read it.
It says, let us oppress the poor righteous man.
So they're saying, let us oppress the poor righteous man. So part of their legislation is to oppress us. Read.
Let us not spare the widow,
And they're not going to spare anyone. Read.
nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age.
And they don't have no respect for the elderly. You could work all your life, they're still going to take your pensions. They're still going to take your money. So they have no respect for the elderly. To say, okay, you've worked all your life, now you can relax and retire. No. They suffer more so than anyone, and they've built this world we're living in. Right? Read.
Verse 11. Let our strength be the law of justice.
And they're going to use the law. Now, the Most High has given us some understanding of what they'll use to oppress us.
Yeah.
They'll use their law to oppress us. You have these policemen. You have these army. All these people that are applying for these positions. Something is psychologically wrong with some of these people too. Now, it's not just the money.
No.
They get these people who was bullied at a young age.
Mhm.
People, that lust for power.
Yeah.
People that have been dejected and had no authority in their life, and they give these guys a gun and a badge. These are not diplomats. These are steroid thrown off psychopaths with Napoleon complexes that they make policemen, and then they take a bunch of lesbians and make them police women. So they put these people with dejected minds, homosexuals, these women who have a problem with men. You know what I mean? And these are the people they put in position to oppress God's people.
And you know, you're saying that, Brother Ricardo, it's so true, because at work we used to say, because all of a sudden they're changing the kind of managers you get now, and they're so detective, you can't explain their characters, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And they've flooded them, because we work with them, and
Yeah.
we're thinking, where's your concept coming from? And the things they come out with, you're thinking, where did you get that concept from? And they have this,
reprobate mind.
they're just so cold,
Yeah.
so dejected.
Yeah.
Where before management was like, with you, work with you, now they're like,
Yeah.
and they're far away, and they've got such weird thought patterns, and you're thinking,
But you thinking they're weird, but you have to realize they have an agenda.
yeah, I know, they have an agenda.
See, and it's weird because the reason why it seems weird is because they're not telling you that they have a job to do.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, in the corporate world, I worked in the corporate world. Our meetings and what our objective was different. After we come out of our managerial meetings, it was things that couldn't be discussed to the workers. So they'd think that what we were doing was unorthodox, but we was guiding them according to the guidelines we received in the private managerial meetings. They don't have to understand. They're just the workers.
Yeah.
And see, and that's the mindset they have with management and layman workers.
Yeah.
Of course they seem weird because they have an agenda and no one told you. If they told you the agenda and what the real objective was, then you wouldn't think it was that weird. But they can't tell you the objective because the objective is actually to get rid of you.
Yeah, which, yeah.
So, so they have to string you along until they let you go.
Yeah.
So yes, it's pretty weird because they're operating with you, they're talking with you, they're acting as if everything is fine, but they know that you've been written off three months from now, and they have to tolerate you for 3 months.
Yeah. I mean, like, we've got one of the top heavyweights in, like, Lewisham, and she goes,
Oh, okay.
I will just get rid of you, and I really don't care, and you know, she just send that message out to everybody, I don't really care, you can try to take me to court, you wouldn't win. If I say you're going, that's it.
Okay.
And she just sent it down to management, and then when she turns up in your building, she's come and visit our building quite a few times, and people will start shaking.
All right. Well,
No, I'm bothered about it, 'cause I know
I'm
what
saying,
it's all about.
yeah, because I'm totally detached from that because
Yeah.
I don't know about no big wigs. The big wig is the Most High.
Yeah, but in there,
So I've always operated like that. I'm not a type of person. Somebody come in the room, oh, here he come. He's a big. Nah, he's a regional manager. Listen, all that's madness.
But I know, 'cause I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Their program. I know it's about
Yeah.
us, Israel, being kicked out of post and what they're
Yeah,
doing. So
yeah.
I know what they're up to.
Yeah. So they,
Yeah, but
that's
it's
neither
not.
here nor there with these people. You're right.
Sorry, I wanted to just change the topic a little bit according to what. There's something that kind of just dawned on me at the moment. and it's regarding what I've noticed recently, and this is over the last 3-4 months, which I'm sure you're aware of this. There's been a lot of killings with families, houses, families. You see it on the news. Once you don't get through a week in this country, it's families. They're going into dead body in the family, 3, 4. It's everything is family. So I just didn't hear this word family coming out all the time. So I'm trying to make sense of, like, you could just give me just shed. So I'm trying to work it from a spiritual level, because it's this thing of family is big at the moment.
What are you talking about?
Well, what I'm saying is
a lot
that
of killings.
there's been a lot of
family that was murdered.
Oh yeah, but that's all government cover-ups.
it's not real.
No, it's real, but you have to realize if it's on the news, they're trying to spin it before people start investigating it. Because people get killed and die and have suicides all the time that's never on TV. So like that family, like that Chinese family where the whole family was murdered, and they said that they found a murder-suicide type note that they made out. You can tell that was a government-sponsored hit. All right. First of all, those people had their own. They had their own little herbal stores. So he was a pharmacist. He was a doctor. So this guy knew something.
Yeah.
And they wiped him and his family out of the way. So you have to be able to read between the lines and understand that what you're looking at when you look at news. You're looking at talking heads that have to give a spin on something before alternative news tell you exactly what's going on, or life itself paints the picture for you. So if they put it on the news, they're trying to cover something.
What I'm saying is there's been a lot of families. What I'm trying to get at is this. There's a lot at the moment, because the job market is so bad, there's a lot of issues going on with families, you see. And it's causing a lot of contention between the wife and the partner.
That's just the stress.
So I'm just looking at as an Israelite.
Well, that's a natural residual effect of losing everything. I mean, even before this, you have brothers and sisters who are just going against each other because it's just hard to make ends meet. You know what I mean? And people are used to a certain lifestyle. And our people and other people in this earth don't know when the tide is changing. It's time to give up on this world.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You understand? You're arguing because you try to hold on to something that's long gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
Even a lifestyle you've been living was a mirage because they gave it to you to take everything away from you. Okay, you couldn't afford that house you were living in. And it's amazing that people go out and they get these loans, get these houses, get these cars, and their payment is above their pay grade. And you don't think that you got to pay the piper sooner or later, and you live a whole life trying to front in front of people, when really you lose your job. You one paycheck from being homeless, 1 or 2 paychecks from being in debt. So what's happening is the bankers are now calling in all that debt that they gave you, that you made you think that you were living. So these brothers and sisters that are fighting against each other because of a certain lifestyle, it's because they're living above their means. Now it's time. What happens when you gotta just give everything up and just walk away? And see, and that's the time we're in right now. I'm not gonna push against the grain. You can't uphold a system that the Most High is destroyed. If the bankers are no longer giving you the money, and they're the ones that allow you to live your lifestyle a certain way, and they are tightening it up now, that's telling you that your lifestyle must change because they're not complicit. They're now reaping the benefits and taking everything, including your soul. They have no interest at all in you living your lifestyle. So now you have to think about, okay, it's time to be a pilgrim now. It's time to say, listen, what can I live with outside of this dream that I've been sold through your talking box or your TV? And that's just the reality. Can I have any level of solitude or spirituality within myself outside of this program we have been fed on TV? The Brady Bunch, Family Ties, all these little, all these little television programs, the Huxtables, the Cosbys, all these things that made you feel less if you didn't live this certain life. So this is what time it is. Finish reading. Chapter and verse.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 11.
Go ahead.
Let our strength be the law of justice.
And they're going to use the law to execute this power against us. Read.
For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Therefore,
It says, because that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. That means once they get finished beating you down and making you feeble, you're worth nothing to them at this point. You have, and not only that, you have to, and that's also a survival tool to know what your worth is. If you are dead weight to the system, you're worthless.
Come out of it.
You're worthless. You have to realize now you're more so someone taken away from the resources than building it. At one point they needed us because they needed to build the construct to get to the point where they could take down the world. That construct have been built.
Yeah.
So now that that construct is built and they have a United Nations and an army that's a collaboration of all forces of the earth, and they have went and built their thing to get out in space,
GPS.
we're no longer needed. We've built the corporations that are now offshores. They don't need us anymore. The corporations now have machines that can rake, that can ream all the crops quicker than people. You can have one guy driving one truck and he's dealing with 20 lanes to reap corn. So now we don't need them for labor anymore. The machines done took that. You understand? We don't need them for certain things. The infrastructure have already been built. So it's not like we need them to build any roads. The infrastructure is here. Now these people are a waste. What we're going to do with all these people? And they're waking up. So they're going to use the law, and they're saying we're feeble and we're not worth anything according to scriptures. So now what? What is their plan?
verse 12. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous.
So they're going to lie in wait for us. And do what?
Because he is not for our turn.
Because he is not for us. He's not thinking about building a new world order. These people are thinking against us. So why should we let them live? That's their mentality. And it's important for us to know what the Most High is showing us in this, because they would never tell us that they're going to kill us. We find out after we've already been arrested. We found out what their plan was after somebody we know is 6 feet under, or they have us in a dome somewhere killing each other, and then they're putting bullets in people's heads and killing all these people off that used to be in jail. That's when we find out after we've already been victimized. They're not going to tell us what their plans are. So when the Most High sent out the people to warn the people, that's the only thing we get. Because the government is not going to tell you they're going to kill you if their plan is to kill you. What type of war is that? To tell the enemy when they're going to kill you. Kill them. It doesn't make any sense. Read.
And he is clean contrary to our doings.
And the Bible says they are clean contrary to our doings, which means these people are telling us the way we're living is not correct. And if other people see them live a certain type of way, they may be convinced to come to their side. Read.
He upbraideth us with our offending the law.
And every time we look, these people are telling us that we're doing something against the law. We're pagans. We're worshiping on a Sunday. We're eating pork. So when we say that, even though they don't say it out in public, they loathe that. They loathe the fact, what makes you better than us? No, it's not that we're better. The Most High told us we shouldn't do this. So they seek opportunity to destroy us because they hate the fact that we're telling them they're doing something wrong. And that's the scriptures. Read.
And objective to our infamy, the transgressings of our education.
See that? And they tell us our education is nothing. That Einstein was nothing. He was just a simpleton. That Darwin was nothing. They tell us that our science and our education is nothing. Yeah, it's nothing. They can't stand that because these are the people they reverence, these Jewish philosophers and scientists and sorcerers. So when we come out and tell people that Darwin was absolutely nothing, they get upset. Read. Huh?
He's a Roman.
Yeah. Read.
Verse 13. He professeth to have the knowledge of the Most High.
That's another reason they want to come against us. Because these people profess that they have the knowledge of the Most High. Now, they're not going against Christians. They're not going against Muslims. They're attacking these particular people right here that are standing up with the laws of the Most High. It's telling you right here who they're focusing their war or aiming their war towards. Read.
And he calleth himself the child of the Lord.
That's how you know they're aiming towards God's people. They're aiming towards the people who have found out that they're the actual children of the Most High. You know what? I've been waiting for someone to challenge us and say that we aren't. That we're not. Still, since we've been bringing this out, nobody have came out and said, listen, y'all are not the people and we can prove it.
Yeah.
Not once.
Yeah.
Why? They'd rather us just stay quiet
Yeah.
because they don't want other people to figure this out.
Yeah.
Because it can't be disputed.
Yeah. Because even when I tell people, and I've met strangers and I get talking to them, and then there is some know, and they're shocked that you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, that is the world's best kept secret. Because when you actually open your mouth and they say, well, who are you? They're waiting for you to actually give the spiel. Where's your parents from? Jamaica, wherever, and they're quite happy with that. And then the minute you say, I'm an Israelite, what? I'm from Benjamin. I've seen it a good few times now. There is a degree of shock. So then it leads me to believe that you already knew this.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people know. We're the only people that are out of the loop.
Yeah, didn't know.
And don't even care to know.
Yeah.
I sat there with a preacher the other day, speaking with this preacher, you know, he want to challenge us to this debate, even though this ain't nothing that we came up with, but he had family members who've been traveling, who've been with us for a while. And so they wanted to set this up so that they can set their family members straight, to let them know that Christianity is above the teachings of the children of Israel. So he challenged us to this particular debate, and I'm sitting there speaking to people. He bust all these people in Kansas City, you understand, to challenge us. And he didn't want to acknowledge that he's actually the people of the book. I'm trying to figure out what's so wrong with these people acknowledging that they're God's people, and they're preaching about God's people out of the Bible every Sunday. This is the reverse thinking of these slaves. You understand? There's nothing wrong with these people, or you wouldn't be teaching out of their book.
Yeah.
Why can't you be them?
Can't accept that.
Yeah, and then he's in Kansas City right there on the Madrid fault line, busting all these people in to witness a debate when they're about to blow that whole area up through earthquakes and floods. Now, if you're going to get some people together with some transportation, it would be to get out of the Madrid fault line. See, but that's what our people do. They got this reverend doctor would have a name so long you run out of paper just to fit his name on there. And he sent me this big dossier of who he is and what he's accomplished and all these things. And then he wanted a dossier. I'm like, listen, man, I'm just a child of the Most High with a Bible. Y'all say that. And when we bring out the truth will stand. Because I'm not here to tell you my long list of credentials of what school listen. What school did Christ go to? What school did the disciples go to? So this guy, listen, and this guy was in this so-called debate. It wasn't bringing no type of scriptures, no nothing, no understanding, and had all these people in this congregation witnessing what was going on. And the only reason I agreed to do it, not because debating is futile. I agreed to do it because I knew that if the truth get out, it's going to fall on some of those people in the audience, and they're going to look at what their preacher's saying opposed to what they're reading out of the Bible, and it's going to change them individually. Even if I never meet them ever again, even if they don't even know me, something is going to settle on these people to know that they're the children of God. And that's the only reason I agreed to come off and do that for a few hours. I was tired. You understand? We went straight from early baptisms into class, and I thought I had 3 hours. Only slept 2 hours the night before. You understand? Trying to get things together. And man, I thought I had 3 hours. When I got home, they said the debate is in 40 minutes. I just put on a button-up shirt, and I just sat down and say, listen, let's have it. Let's do it.
I actually saw that debate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that, and yeah, in the end I turned off because I thought this is madness. The guy was just it got to a stage where he just rambling.
Yeah.
He was completely confused, and that's where I thought enough.
Okay. Yeah, it's total madness.
Yeah.
Can I just say?
Yeah.
It's a subject of food. I'm going to start fishing up for 6:30. Is everybody okay with that?
Of course, that'll be fine.
6:30,
Okay. So let me finish addressing this, and then I'll go into the topics that y'all wanted me to hit before we sit down. Read what you have.
Verse 14. He was made to reprove our thoughts.
And they understand why we were actually created. We was made to correct their thoughts. They know this. See, the Bible tell you in the Wisdom of Solomon the mindset of the wicked and how they perceive us and what they really think against us. They know that we were actually created to correct the world. They know this. We were created to correct their thoughts. Read.
Verse 15. He is grievous unto us, even to behold.
And they can't stand when they see us. Especially when we know who we are.
Yeah.
Because we walk with a certain air.
Yeah. True.
You understand? And there's a difference in the way we operate. I notice the people who don't know and who are in darkness, and how they treat our people who are in darkness.
Yeah.
And how they look at us and perceive us once they know we got the truth. They know something is different about us.
Yeah.
They don't condescend. They don't look down on us. As a matter of fact, we're looking up and they're here.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I'm not dealing with none of, no. I'm not dealing with no type of rulership. I'm not dealing with any condescending. I'm not dealing with you looking down on me a certain type of way. A matter of fact, I'm going to need you to help me out with this, and this. This is what I need from you. It's a different spirit once you know, and that's what they try to take away from us. The truth gives us our courage back.
Yeah.
It gives us our bravery back. So they understand who to deal with based on our persona. They know who have the truth. Because you walk a certain type of way, you act a certain type of way. Right?
You know something, McCart? I want to hit back to when I was in Nigeria. Yeah?
Nigeria?
Yeah, that's all Nigeria. I was born here, but I went back to Nigeria.
Okay, you Judah then, man.
Levi.
Levi.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened was, when I was in Nigeria, I went to Methodist school. Very good top school in Nigeria, because that's what my dad said.
Methodist school, go ahead.
Yeah, but there was a problem. The Bible, I read the whole thing inside out.
Go ahead.
There's something wrong. And this is why I now know why I'm Israelite. I read it inside out, and every time I kept on reading it, I just saw a white man in white cloak. I kept on thinking, this ain't right, man. How come this Bible is like a Wizard of Oz? Something's not right. Because they teach us as black people there, yeah? We're all black in the school, but, you know, they teach us like it's a white man's thing. So you go through the whole thing, you do the exam, but it's like a storybook. You can't hit it. So I knew from a long time, from the age of 16, because I rebelled against my dad. I didn't go to church for a lot. He said, guys, I'm not going. I couldn't understand why I didn't want to go, but I just kept on saying I'm not going to go. So we fell out on that issue, but I knew it was spiritual, and I said I have to find who. It took me a long time to find who I was, but I knew at some point I'd get in there, because everything around, when I came back to England, I started that everything was going like a circle. It wasn't real. You come into some money, like, you know, at the back of your mind, you think something, what happens if it goes, what do? So you start thinking you can't find the answers. So I knew all along that somewhere along the line, there's got to be an answer to, I need to know who I am. There had to be an existence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, how I came across you initially was that I was actually watching a man called Manning.
Name who?
There's a Manning, he's got some kind of church.
Oh, Pastor Manning in
Yeah,
New York?
funny guy. You know,
In
I
Harlem.
was just in stitches when I used to watch this guy. He was just making me laugh. So, you know, I just thought, well, we've got to find something serious here. And what happened was I came across it was the first thing I noticed was the 12 tribes of Israel. I don't know, you just had some strength. It was just an immense strength come out from when I listened to the first time. And I said, you know, this has to be something real. I'm the only one in my family, apart from my son and my wife. My parents don't share my view. My dad knows something's wrong, even though he's in Nigeria because they're retired. But the rest, they're heavily into, you know what I mean, the old time gospel thing. But
Is
I
he
know
still in
what-
Nigeria now?
Yeah, they're there. But
Okay.
my dad shares my views. My brothers and I got two brothers here, but I had some, but the rest of them, the whole rest of them, you see, they don't know what they're looking for. Because my brother who's in Manchester, right? I first asked him who he was. He didn't know. So the stuff you gave me, that I found on YouTube, I wrote it down. I went on there, spent a whole day, read through the whole thing, and sent to him. You won't believe he hasn't spoken to me since.
Mm.
Because he came back with a very vague, you know, he didn't even have where to turn, it was just too much. Because I never said to him that I knew stuff. So since then he just backed off. He
Mm.
said, my beliefs are not your beliefs. He said something like, I'm not into, what's the word?
Secret knowledge.
Secret knowledge. He calls what we're learning Israelite, finding who you are, is secret knowledge. That's what he calls it.
Secret knowledge. Okay.
But I know it. you
It's
know.
amazing that they back off once you know the truth, but they'd rather
Yeah.
prey on your ignorance.
Yeah,
If you knew nothing at all, then they will be able to conversate and deal with you.
yeah,
Is that strange?
Yeah.
yeah,
I've
If
been
you,
in-
if you're dealing with the truth of the Most High,
yeah.
why can't you deal with someone with knowledge and wisdom? Why the only conversation you have is with the ignorant?
He said to me, I'm going to go to hell. But I said to him, I can't go to hell because I'm an Israelite, so I'm in the truth. I said, you need to find who you are. I said, until you find who you are, you're not going to really know what you do. And
Yeah.
that's the bottom line.
Brother Rakai.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you something. You mentioned in regards to Nigeria
Yeah.
and the tribes there in Nigeria. Where do those people who reside in Nigeria, which tribe do they fall under in terms of
There's a hard truth.
Judah?
Well, you, believe it or not, there's a book called Hebrewism in West Africa. Do we have that with us?
I saw it on the net and I went and looked at it, so I watched your back episode of your teaching on that one. Yeah.
You got it in there? You have it in there?
I'm gonna push it, can't even get hold of. Trying to find.
No, that's Lost Tribes in the Promised Land right there. I got to get with my brother Yadi Milan. I got to contact him because he's able to get any book you name.
Yeah, you can get that book that you mentioned, Brother Roger.
Is it in there?
No.
Well, there's a book called Hebrewism in West Africa. It shows all the locations and the geographical location. You have some place where you have
Hebrews in West Africa.
you have some places where you have a combination of more than one tribe, but the priests stayed separate. So you can have some people that were in Nigeria, but they were the priests, so you know they were Levi. You understand that they were separate from the regular people, the tribal people. Usually the priesthood was the Levites of the different areas. Like the Ashanti, we found out the Ashanti were Levi.
Okay.
Okay?
That's the Ghanaian.
Yeah, the Ashanti.
Yeah.
The Ashanti tribe were Levi.
Okay.
Okay, so you'd have to know whether or not your people were of the priests of the Western
Well,
Ivory Coast.
actually of the priest, because I have something on that old book, and I went through it, and basically what I found was that they had something from the Shango, yeah? That
Mhm.
actually came out of Egypt. It was linked to someone linked to Ramses.
Okay.
And I went further back, a bit more detail, and I found out that the language was actually Greek and Hebrew combined.
Okay.
Yoruba is actually, when you... in the
But
words,
how did you
it's
find out that you were
Yakuba.
Levi?
Pardon?
How did you find that you were Levi?
I went into some information regarding the land of Canaan, and I went. I can't